And then I said, you can take your... Oh. Hello again. And welcome to another episode of Vlogmass. Cranberry juice. It is I, the old grumpy game master, and it is day 4 of Vlogmas. If you don't know what Vlogmas is, it is a made-up holiday where self-important vloggers like myself come up with inane content for 25 days from now through Christmas in an attempt to entertain you in the hopes of generating more content, more subscriptions, and possibly even income. So today, let us take a look at the worst role-playing game ever made. Dum 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 da-dum. Many believe that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and other strangeness and Palladium games in general are the worst role-playing games ever made. But that title goes to, if you have not heard of it, a game called Fatal, F-A-T-A-L. It is considered by many to be the worst role-playing game ever made. It is an overcomplex, inherent, racist, misogynist, and deviant in a bad ways role-playing game. It's a game about basically it's a game about men lecturing women and doing horrible things to people who aren't white. It is awful. It is awful and overly complex, like trigonometry overly complex. It is considered unanimously the worst role-playing game ever made. It is the top of the unholy trinity of worst role-playing games ever made. The second worst role-playing game is called Relic Wars. And it's where the PC plays white warriors fighting against classic enemies of racist groups, blacks, Jews, Latinos, and basically everyone outside the Aryan idea, or would if the game had decent rules. They are incomplete, racist, and stupid. And unfinished, as at the end of the PTF cuts off and seems many pages are missing. It was put out by a group called Primary Error and Wayback Machine Games. And basically a right-wing, extremely Christian, everybody is bad if you're not white, conservative role-playing game. Again, just awful, awful, awful. And the third is called Hybrid. It was an attempt at a superhero game. It was a series of unrelated and unsequential number rules that collected mathematical equations and racist and sexist secrets into an apparent and later stated attempt to quantify and perfectly describe reality using comic book characters as the basics. At first, this caused disbelief. People thought it was a joke, and yet the sheer unremitting number of posts turned the consensus into amazement and decision, which snowballed into a panoply of mocking replies into the thread, combined with almost random way the author replied to the entirely unrelated threads. The author eventually jumped to a different group and continued to put out the hybrid posts saying, yes, this is a game, but the game was never finished, it was never collected, it was nonsensical, it was perpetuating and near Lovecraftian work of love, at least obsessive and compulsive. It was, when printed out, looked like something a 2-year-old made. It was, again, racist, sexist, just misogynistic, horrible about women, horrible about gays, horrible about anybody that wasn't a white male. Just generally the worst role-playing games seem to come in consider a triangle of three. One, unbelievably overcomplicated, like not even like beyond math nerd overcomplicated, like computer programming level of complication. Two, extremely conservative and filled with hate against blacks, Latinos, gays, and women, and the protagonists are always Aryan males. So those seem to be the three things that make up the title holders for worst role-playing games. A lot of the other ones, according to this source, are basically, a lot of them are considered, well, are you serious or are these jokes? So yeah. I mean, some of these were even published, but a lot of the reviews of these are like, wait, you can't be serious. Are you publishing this as a joke? Like, The Adventures of Indiana Jones in 1984, when it was a very limited RPG ever published. You can only play a short list of characters from the film. There are no character generation rules in the box sets. And the adventure vermins are surely sparse. And the TSR tried to trademark the term Nazi. But in fact, the game sucked, and many people believe that the Adventures of Indiana Jones role-playing game that came out in 1984 by TSR was a marketing gimmick and a joke. This should not be confused with the 1994 World of Indiana Jones game by West End Games. Cyborg Commando, 1987. Gygax supposedly created by Gary Gygax. In 1987, Gygax got kicked to the curb by TSR. He left and founded the first of many companies, and he published Cyborg Commando in 1987. The game design, rooted into the trends of the 1970s, attempted to create a dark 1980 type game. It was an implausible game about cyborgs fighting alien invaders and shooting lasers from their fingers and walking mechanics, and that company quickly folded. Gygax moved to another company, and again, many people considered this to be a joke to try and remake for Gygax's name after TSR kicked him to the curb. But so there you go, the worst role-playing game ever made. Fatal. Fatal. The game that should not be made. Fantasy adventures to adult lechery. A unbelievably overly complex game of white Aryan male sexually assaulting females while discriminating against anything that isn't white and male. There you go. Do you feel better about yourself now? Because as a white male, I sure as hell don't. The fact that this was even made kind of turns my stomach. But do you feel educated? Tune in tomorrow for more Vlogmass. Until then, talk to you later, losers.